Hello, human. I'm here at the park for a little walk and talk with you. As I walk, I'm going to tour this garden. And if you know about my video where I encountered a coyote here in Golden Gate Park, it was in this garden. So I'm just starting under this tree. There are people around, so I'll do my best to not get them. Sound and sight, but that will be hard. So the thing that we've been talking about in these walk and talk videos is necessary components moving forward. Now I'm avoiding using that new earth term because I feel like that's kind of trite at this point, but I am thinking about how we can create a more inviting life going forward. Inviting meaning something that speaks to our heart and our soul, and that we make offerings to community and everyone's taken care of. I know this sounds idealistic, but this is the basics. So one of the things that we've been speaking about in terms of this is that we'll all need community, and how some people will have trouble creating that. It's not the easiest thing to do. It's easier said than done, right? Depending on where you are, especially. Some people are looking for spiritual community and support where they will not find it because of where they live, and they will have to create it from the ground up. Some of us live in places that have a lot of that spiritual life, but are not necessarily connected to the people. So there are different reasons why, right? I can't speak for everyone, but I can speak for what I've experienced and what I've seen and spoken to others about. And being comfortable in your body and feeling safe in your body would be primary to being able to actually contribute to community, especially if you don't have community, right? So what does that mean? This person is so loud. So what does that actually mean? Well, one of the things that I will be sharing, as you know, because you've been going through this series with me, is how to create a yoga practice, a sustainable yoga practice, starting from the history. Another thing I can share and assist is how to be an energy sensitive person in a city. The last video or the video before that had some tips, and I really want some input so that I know which way to go on that one. But for now, I'm going to propose something that some might say would be necessary to embark on either of those things. I personally don't think it's necessary, but I do think it's a place where people can begin, if so inclined. And that is this whole loving yourself thing. Now, I know everyone speaks about self-love, appreciation, and all of that, but have you considered whether the people you're listening to are actually speaking from a place where they love the parts of themselves that are challenging and difficult? Because that's what I'm proposing. This gives you a whole different kind of confidence. It gives you a way to be in your body and actually present yourself to your community that you're creating, that you're drawing in, or you're finding, depending on who you are and what you're doing. This gives you a place to actually work from that's very sustainable and honest. So, what are things that you can do today, right now, after you listen to this video, that would support you in this task? What is the task, Farron? Self-love. Loving the parts of you that, are really hard. The things that you've done that you may be embarrassed about right now. The things that are challenging that you haven't learned to appreciate about yourself, and that kind of thing. if I could speak to the teenagers or, the people in their 20s, if you start this now, you will have a much easier time going forward. If I knew this then, I would have spent more time on it myself. Ugh, it's very wet. Anyhow, so if there was a tip I can give the teens and the 20s, get on this one before you start to round the corner to that 28, 29, 30-year-old, which is Saturn return, because that will make this whole thing a little bit easier, I would assume. I don't know, because that's not my experience. So there's a big difference between self-appreciation, appreciating the things you can do and say, and self-love. Self-love is that whole unconditional thing, but the real unconditional way. Do you get what I'm saying here? The parts of you that are really challenging. The parts of you that you had once assumed nobody would like or appreciate. The things that you've deemed bad. Although going forward, we're not going to use that terminology anymore. My voice is a little hoarse because the energy has been very heavy and challenging. If you've been listening to my videos about the Sirius portal, it is a very high vibration, but my body is working really hard to maintain itself. So my voice can come and go. It sounds hoarse, but I'm not sick or anything like that. I'm just saying that because some of you on the ascension path might not realize that that can happen. Yeah? Notice how you're breathing too. How you're breathing, how you're moving. So this is about where I saw the coyote. So self-love, what are things that people say to do about that? Well, one of them is having a yoga practice, right? But you can do journaling. You can do art journaling, where it has nothing to do with any specific topic. You just get to feel the materials and all of that, which doesn't sound like a direct hit to what I'm talking about, but it really is. The other thing is doing it the hard way. And I don't mean challenging, because it's actually not easy, not a hard task, because it takes you writing things down, but it takes writing down things that are very challenging. So you would write down all of the things that you don't like about yourself, that you feel are unlikable, unlovable. And you really look at that and see who put that in there. Who did that? Was it you? Was it somebody else? Get it out. Write it out. And then write down the exact opposite. And burn the first one. Turn the second one into a jumping off point to finding your personal purpose. If you know the process of Ikigai, if you've heard of that, you can look it up. The Japanese art of finding your purpose. That's putting it very mildly. It's challenging because most people won't do it. Because it means admitting to the things that you don't like. If you try any of these things, will you please come back and let me know? Put comments in or get on my email list. My email list is very easy. There's a link, one of those social media links. You can just find it on there. But for now, I want to leave you with this. It's very hard to appreciate the things that you don't like about yourself. So when you start to try, just know that it's a process and a practice, and nobody really just jumps into that all the way. It takes time. Ease your way into it. ease your way into it. Thank you so much for listening to this video and for taking this little walk around this garden with me. If you've never visited my website, it's my name, farron.me. I would love it if you check it out and join me on my email list and on social media. For now, I am only using TikTok and YouTube. Again, thank you so much for being here. My name is Farron. Have a wonderful day.